how to install, configure and set up Yoast SEO plugin. When you're logged into your WordPress dashboard, press on Add New Plugin from your plugin menu link. Let's search for Yoast. This is a test site that I'm creating this video for. Let's install Yoast. In 2024, they actually have automatic configuration setup. So you can basically go through it or just skip it really. Remember, for your website, the most important thing in terms of Yoast SEO plugin is your ability to customize the SEO title and also meta description. Furthermore, if you're not using XML sitemaps, then Yoast actually does have XML sitemap functionality. Keep that in mind, because then you'll actually understand how to use Yoast correctly. Let's start with first time configuration and go through it, as in fly through it. Here it says SEO data optimization. This is a new feature. You can press start. It doesn't really matter. Here, Yoast tries to tell you, okay, you know what? Are you a business owner or a person? This is to do with structured data, but you can save and continue. You can, let's select, I'm a person, username, hello world as an example. Surely yours will be different. You can upload your own image from your computer or your business image from your computer, okay, as in your business brand logo and so on. Okay, we can save and continue. Then here it's asking for, if it's a person, then it's saying, okay, all this stuff, right? Personal preference. You can, I don't want to share my data, or you can share it if you want. Okay, save and continue. And let's finish configuration. It says learn how to increase the ranking with Yoast SEO. You're not going to increase your rankings just because you're using search engine optimization plugins. The only way for you to increase your rankings is that you have a fast website, as in reasonably fast. It provides great user experience when people visit it, particularly when they visit using their mobile devices, and also by creating helpful, reliable, people-first content. Okay, so don't buy into all this upsell stuff. Let's go to our dashboard and continue learning with this. As you can see, it's really confusing, right? That's why I've provided the review that I have in the previous video session, because here it's saying get Yoast SEO Premium, all that stuff, which you do not need. First time configuration, we can always go and edit that here. So let's go to settings, because this is the most important part for your Yoast SEO plugin usage. Here it's saying writing, SEO analysis, disable the feature. So I'm not going to explain what each of these do, okay, but rather tell you, you know what, if you want to get better results, you can skip all this junk. Let's save changes. That's for site features. Let's look at site basics. Here, surely you can provide site name, use the minus symbol for separator. You can provide your brand logo if it's a local business, for example. And here, restrict advanced setting for authors. Keep that there. Usage tracking, leave things at default. Site policies, that's the new feature. You can read more about it, but you don't really need all this stuff. Save changes. Also, I'm going to share code with you so that you can remove all this junk. Site presentation, here we've said person previously, but we can always change that, okay? And here, if you have multiple users, obviously you can provide different user information accordingly. Site connections, here you can actually use Google Search Console, grab a meta tag. I won't cover that because I already created a video tutorial for that. I know I'm talking a little bit fast because I want to cover everything within 5 minutes, okay? Pinterest, that may be of interest if your website is image based. Perhaps you're sharing your images on Pinterest. But that Google site verification for Search Console using meta tag, that may be of use to you using Yoast plugin, okay? So with Yoast plugin, there is 10% of its features that are useful. The 90% is upsell and junk. Let's look at content types. Let's look at homepage again. Homepage is your front page. You've already added it. The site basics come from your homepage. Then we have posts. Since this is important, simply let's remove the title separator and site name. As in site title. Where does that site title come from? It comes from your settings, site title. Okay, so let's now set this up because posts are a very important part of WordPress site. Here it says meta description. You can insert variables. Okay, so simply rank your website, title page, excerpt is the information we can put there. Social media appearance, unlock with premium. You do not need this because there are different ways. Let's imagine you're sharing your blog posts on your Facebook business page. If that's the case, you can create Facebook apps and tap into advanced features of Facebook as well, because that's how you're meant to do things correctly. Here it says schema. You should not be using schema markup of Yoast SEO plugin because they are doing it wrong and it's filled with validation errors. Additional enable SEO controls assessment. This is all rubbish. This is all junk. You can skip it, but nonetheless that option is there. You may think, okay, you know what, my entire website is about frequently asked questions, then use it. But as I've said, if you want to do things correctly for website optimization, you should not be using this. And on this blog post, I'm going to share with you code so that you can disable all this incorrect coding. So then, remember, we just looked at posts, which are very important. Let's save changes. And let's look at pages since they are also important. Let's remove the site title and separator and do the same thing for pages as well. The description, we just simply use a variable, which is this. Okay, so you can actually search the variable link here. We don't want to add two, we just want to add one, right? So I'll show you excerpt. Okay, so well, not only, that's the one setting we need. So blog posts and pages. Let's imagine you're using WooCommerce. Then you may have products, obviously. Same thing applies for products as well. Remember, it's the title. That's the main thing. That's what you really want at the end of the day. The reason we're leaving page is because of WordPress paginations. Schema for pages, it's absolutely not smart to use this here. Okay, so basically we've set that up. Explore Yoast Premium now. No, we don't want to do that. And let's go back to posts. I want to see what happened. It automatically changed it, but I do not have settings to save it because they're trying to upsell things here for me. We do not need it. Show pages in search results? Absolutely. Show posts in search results? Absolutely. Show products in search results for WooCommerce? Absolutely. Anything else you do not need to show in search results. One exception being categories of WordPress. You can remove site title and separator. Insert variable, it is term description. That's what you want to add there. Category description. Okay, so that's it there. Where does the category description come from? It comes from your WordPress categories. So here, if you have, let's imagine you added a category. In my example, I haven't because it's a test site, but let's edit that. It's uncategorized. Surely you wouldn't have this here. Whatever you put in the description, here for your categories, That's what you're saying here. Let's save changes and continue, because we've got a couple of other things to go through. Tags, you can disable it because tags are not that useful. You can remove site title and separator. And here we've got advanced settings in 2024. Here it's saying remove unwanted metadata. Well, you can use these if you want, but there is better ways. And the better ways is you simply use functions that allows you to do that. It would be complex for me to explain all this. Some may be useful depending on your WordPress site. So this feature may be of use for some website owners, okay? Let's look at breadcrumbs. Well, you can set this up. This is to do with your menu structure. I'm going to skip this because it is straightforward, really. Anytime you make changes, simply save changes. Author archives can be important for forum-related websites or websites whereby you have members coming in, logging in, or commenting. Then they may have, author details, right? Author details come from your users. That's where you see author for WordPress. Enable author archives, yes, if you want, depending on the type of WordPress site you're operating. Show author archives in search results. If you have many different authors contributing to your WordPress site, then surely you want to have that in search results. Date archives, enable date archives. You can enable, disable. It's not going to make any difference. Remove site title separator. The insert variable, you know what, you can write anything there really. Date archives is an important part of WordPress. Here, let's look at date archives. Okay, you can grab something like this and place it there. Read more blog posts written on site title, published on this. But you do not really want to have date archives indexed by Google in WordPress, because there is nothing unique on date URLs. Format archives. Some WordPress sites use custom post types. If yours do that, then you may want to have this enabled. You can read more about it. I'm not going to cover that. But basically, enable format-based archives. For 90% of WordPress sites, no. Because even if you're using custom post types, well, I shouldn't say no to that, because let's imagine you have image-based website and your formats are gallery and you're publishing images. Well, in that case, then you would have enable format-based archives, okay? But most people don't use WordPress formats like that. Most of them use standard. Well, if you do use standard, then you don't want to enable format-based archives, okay? Special pages, internal search pages, you can basically skip all this really, because I'm going to show you how to disable Google indexing search pages or unimportant pages of WordPress. 404 error pages, you can basically skip that. See, the fact is they shouldn't actually have this option in Yoast or any other SEO plugin, because it's irrelevant. Media pages, enable media pages. This is a tricky one. If your website is image based only, then surely images are important. When you enable this, what Yoast is saying, whatever image you have in your media library, this particular image URL, which is obviously different, that's the setting for it. But when you publish images, whether it is for your blog posts, pages, or products, then that image becomes part of the page or the product. And that's exactly what you want, instead of trying to rank this image URL separately. As I've said, only if your website is image based, then you want to enable media pages. Search appearance, show media pages in search results. It can basically enable, disable. It doesn't really make any difference. Schema for media pages. Well, your media is an image object. So how can you add schema markup using a plugin? That's why you want to be very thoughtful of using any plugin, but do so correctly. Enable SEO control assessment. You can skip that if no one else is logging into your WordPress site. But let's imagine you do have 5 different admins. Then perhaps you can say, okay, you know what? I'm an administrator. And let's imagine you have 5 contributors, sorry. Then you can disable the access to your settings for the contributors or editors. RSS 2024, not many people use RSS, but nonetheless, that's there. Okay. Let's look. That's that. You can leave that as it is and save changes. Now I know I've talked a little bit fast, but nonetheless, in less than 5 minutes, I've basically shown to you what's important regarding Yoast SEO plugin. This is how you're meant to use Yoast and set it up along these lines. Anything else, you'll be wasting your time, energy, and effort. And you won't get the results your WordPress site deserves. But if you follow these insights, and in the upcoming tutorials, I'll share with you how to really optimize Yoast SEO plugin and so on. Okay? I thank you for learning with Rankia, and I'll talk with you in the next video session.